What was old is new once again in volleyball as state titles get duplicated and celebrated. This kid's work is not done with mirrors, but it is magic, and state soccer playoff action provided plenty of thrills. So go ahead and get excited, because the Foodland Pepsi High School Sports Week show is next.
It ain't over till it's over, and you can bet your bottom dollar that the football season ain't over yet. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Malone, your host for the Foodland Pepsi High School Sports Week show. The road to Three Rivers has our attention this week with a couple of sideways glances. While most of the area had its eye on the WPIO quarterfinals, we sent our Sports Week cameras to capture the championship game of the City League yesterday. Keith James tells us it was a doozy between Perry and Westinghouse.
This promised to be a bang-up affair as the Westinghouse Bulldogs were looking to defeat the two-time defending champion Perry Commodores like they had during the regular season. Aaron Justice put Westinghouse out in front with a field goal in the first quarter, and then in the second quarter, the Bulldog offense coughed up the ball on their own 18. Travis Macklin was there to recover for Perry. All it took was one play as Abu Whitaker put the ball up for a leaping Kent Roebuck, and the Commodores were in the lead at the half 8-3. Taking the opening kickoff in the third quarter, Westinghouse started a march. From just inside the 50, the reverse put the pigskin in the hands of Hudaifi Ismaili, who raced to the 2-yard line before being hauled down. It took 3 plays, but Aaron Justice finally jammed it in for the score, and with their 2-point conversion, Westinghouse went up 11-8. Perry fired right back and drove to the 1-yard line in 11 plays. Then on 4th and 1, Abu Whitaker managed to break the plane and regain the lead for Perry. Westinghouse wouldn't give up, but the Perry defense proved to be too stubborn. The celebration was appropriate for a three-peat and a city championship in a very tough game.
It's the best, you know. Westinghouse beat us the first time, and the guys were just ready, you know, from the start. You know, we was all pumped up. We had a great pep rally, a great practice all week. You know, I just felt it. You know, I felt it. It's three-peat, you know. It feels good.
The city champion Perry Commodores now move on to the state AAA playoffs next Saturday. Keith James reporting for the Foodland Pepsi High School Sports Week show.
Congratulations to the Perry Commodores on their City League three-peat. Now, let's focus our attention on the WPIO quarterfinal play from Friday night. First on the list, the Quad A pairing that had the Penn Hills Indians at Connellsville. Connellsville Falcons were confident about their playoff matchup against the Penn Hills Indians. Midway into the first quarter, Connellsville connected on their first possession. Quarterback Jason Baer zips the ball to the big guy Luther Warmack over the middle, and the 6'3", 220-pounder rumbles across the goal line for a 44-yard score. Just 2 minutes before the half, trailing 14-0, Penn Hills was looking to get on the board when Richard Brooks has this pass picked off by senior safety Joe Daniels. Daniels had clear sailing. This guy scampers 74 yards. Nobody's going to touch it. Connellsville ups its lead 21-0. Well, it was looking more and more like the Falcons would repeat last year's playoff win over Penn Hills, but Penn Hills had other ideas. In the third quarter, Richard Brooks was on the run out of the pocket. He weaves his way through the defense and dances, and I mean dances, 54 yards to put the Indians on the board. But Connellsville proved too much for Penn Hills when Dante Stokes added the final touchdown. Connellsville prevails 27-14. At the single-A level, Farrell's monstrous fullback Lorenzo Stiles would lead the defending champs against Western Beaver. The potential for a repeat title was on Lou Falcone's mind. Farrell quarterback James Evans calls Stiles' number on the pitch from 18 yards out, and the big guy bulldozes through the defense and collects the touchdown for a 7-0 Steelers lead. It was Stiles again in the second quarter to open up the game. This time on the pitch left, he turns the quarter, heads downfield. Watch the nice little move the big guy makes. He goes 77 yards to make the score 20-7 in Farrell's favor. Western Beaver comes right back, though, when quarterback Jeff Witt finds halfback Cecil Brazos for a 31-yard touchdown pass. Just 50 seconds later, Stiles crushes the opposition on the screen pass from James Evans, and the big guy, I'll tell you, he's got some moves. The play covers 45 yards for a touchdown and provides the defending single-A champs with a 54-22 win and a berth to the semifinal round. Greensburg-Salem fans had their war paint on as they clashed with Blackhawk Cougars in their AAA matchup. The game's first series, Blackhawk quarterback Scott Weaver looks at the end zone. The pass is tipped by Kim Needballa into the hands of teammate Matt Taylor for the touchdown. In the second quarter, Greensburg-Salem moved the ball from their own 44 and capped the drive with Anthony Corbett's 3-yard run. They trailed 14-6. In the fourth quarter, the Golden Lions were driving when Damon Sanders tries to go down the middle. His pass is tipped and then intercepted by Blackhawk linebacker Brian Smith, who struggles for about a 10-yard return. Blackhawk took the ball and marched it 64 yards for the game's final score on Brian Smith's touchdown run. Blackhawk advances with their 28-6 victory. At the AA level, Aliquippa was hoping to kick up their offense just a notch against the rugged Best Center club. In the second quarter, Aliquippa tailback Chico Williams breaks the scoreless duel with his 28-yard burst, and the Quips were up 7-0 right away. The Best Center had averaged 41 points in their last 6 games, and they tied it just 3 minutes later when junior fullback Sean Rohr sprinted in for the second score, and the game was tied at halftime. The Aliquippa Brain Trust was working on a solution, and that solution came in the third quarter. On the punt return, it's Chico Williams again, and he cuts across the width of the field before he finds room down the near sidelines. He's off to the races, 87 yards, his second touchdown of the night, and a slim lead for Aliquippa. The game stayed close, however, and the Quips locked it up on this 2-yard run by Williams, and Aliquippa advances by a 20-7 victory over Best Center. The Beaver Falls Tigers like to rely on the pass and the big play. The South Park Eagles prefer a balanced attack and would rather grind out a score. Their differences provide that the fourth time was a charm.
The frosty temperatures didn't dampen the excitement of this matchup, and it was evident early that this rivalry was still very hot. Midway into the first quarter, Mount Lebanon's speedy Todd Graff fired a beautiful crossing pass in front of the net, and midfielder Matt Aubin finds the loose ball for the first goal. The celebrating belonged to Upper St. Clair 8 minutes later when Dean Astorino weaved his way through the Blue Devils defense and tied the match at 1-1. Play remained even until the 13-minute mark of the third quarter. Off an Upper St. Clair corner kick, one shot is turned away, but the rebound is there for Steve Carbonera to slam home, and the Panthers were up by a goal. The intensity rose into the fourth quarter as Mount Lebanon played all out. It paid off on this direct kick. Senior Kyle Cooper connects with the leaping header, and the ball squirts past Drew Gerlach to draw the Blue Devils even at 2-2. That score stood through 2 10-minute overtime periods, and then it was sudden death. In the first minutes, Mount Lebanon controlled the play, but then Upper St. Clair turned the tide. They hit pay dirt when Steve Carbonera curved a right footer into the net, and Upper St. Clair was assured a spot in the state championships. With 3 tough matches between the 2 teams this season, Dean Astorino said the Panthers felt the pressure was on Mount Lebanon, but they did have their own concerns coming into the game.
A little bit nervous, but they had to be more scared than we did because they lost 3 times and they had to give it all, but we knew that we could hold on and bring home the 4th victory.
At the state championships in Shippensburg yesterday, Upper St. Clair was edged by Strathaven 1-0 in the AAA game, but Quaker Valley won the AA crown with a 1-0 win against Holy Ghost Prep. The football rankings can be shuffled like a deck of cards on any given week, so with the assistance of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, let's take a look at our latest Foodland Pepsi High School Sportsweek's top teams. In the top 10 across the state, McKeesport still holds the #1 spot, while Mount Lebanon moves up the list to #6. The Panthers of Upper St. Clair are the new #3 team this week. Connellsville is listed as #2, and Central Bucks West remains tops in Pennsylvania. Our final city rankings have Perry followed by Westinghouse and Brashear. On the single A list, Farrell is first with Monessen now #3. Riverside and Aliquippa are right behind Steel Valley at the AA level. Lots of movement in the AAA list. Montour is now second, and Seton LaSalle and Valley move into the top 5. Connellsville is rated as the best Quad A team in the region, with Upper St. Clair, Mount Lebanon, and McKeesport rated second, third, and fourth as they all advance the WPIAL semifinals. A special congratulations to the Quaker Valley girls soccer team. Not only did they win the WPIAL championships, but this week they were rated as the #1 team in the nation, according to the USA Today. Well, the PIAA State Volleyball Championships last week at Robert Morris saw a pair of Western Pennsylvania teams take top honors. Keith James has all the details.
There were really no surprises at the state finals at the Sewell Center, particularly at the AAA level. The ladies of Baldwin High School used all of their weapons for a three-peat as they dumped the District 11 champions, Bethlehem Catholic, 15-11, 15-13. Last year's AA state champs, the Elderton Bobcats, actually reached their main goal a week earlier when they defeated Farrell for the WPIAL title. The Elderton girls then stuffed the District 10 team, Conneaut Lake, in 2 lopsided games for their second state crown. Elderton rattled off the first 9 points in Game 1, and they never trailed. Their celebration continued this past Thursday when the entire high school turned out to salute the achievement. Head coach Dan Spencer received a game ball, and each player was singled out for their contributions in the team effort. Adding to that, the Foodland Pepsi High School Sportsweek show says congratulations to the new state volleyball champions, who happen to be the old state volleyball champions, the Lady Bobcats of Elderton and the Highlanders of Baldwin High. Abracadabra Alakazam. A profile of Johnstown's Magic Man is straight ahead on the Foodland Pepsi High School Sportsweek show.
Keith James tells us that one player in particular was responsible because he's the Magic Man.
Johnstown, a blue-collar city with a proud tradition of hard work for an honest buck. These days, though, the town is wearing a bigger smile as the Magic Man. Senior quarterback Brian Mangiafico led Johnstown High to the Keystone Conference title and, along the way, set a handful of records.
Magic Mangiafico kind of has a nice ring. And it's tough for people to say Mangiafico, too, so they just call him Magic for short. He just, thrown the ball all over the field and hit the, made the good decisions and the good choices on who he should throw to and when he should throw and when he should run. Sometimes that's a problem that quarterbacks have, but he's seemed to make the right choices this year for us.
He does magic with the football. He can run it, he can pass it. He's gutsy. He runs over people as well as running around them, and he pulls rabbits out of hats at a lot of these games.
Brian's astonishing average of 294 yards per game total offense is the best in Pennsylvania state history. In one game alone this year, he passed and ran for over 500 yards.
I wouldn't say that's magic. I just, try and do what I could do to help the team. If I have to get around a couple defenders, I'm going to do everything I can to do it. If I got to, scramble around, throwing the run, I'll do it. I'll just, anything for the team. I'll never quit on the football field. Never.
Raised by his mother, Janine was the guiding light as Brian matured.
He's matured. He's become more self-confident. It's nice. Just makes me real proud of him.
The pride of the Mangiaficos appeared to be rewarded against Pittsburgh's AAA powerhouse Montour yesterday as Brian drove Johnstown to a 21-7 halftime lead. Early in the fourth quarter, Brian lateraled to Mario Hardison for a 27-14 lead. But the extra point was blocked by Montour, and the Spartans took advantage of the opportunity. They fought back as quarterback D.J. Barron handed off to Bill LaGalia, and he punched it in from the 13-yard line. With just over a minute left in the game, Jason Ozarenda, who had blocked Johnstown's extra point, bowled it in to tie it up. Brian could only watch from the sidelines as Montour kicker Bill LaGalia won it with his extra point in a AAA thriller, 28-27.
Contributing to a team's success during the regular season is one thing, but coming through in key games is the mark of an outstanding performer. Upper St. Clair's Steve Carbonara turned in a key performance for his soccer team this past Wednesday and earned the honor of being chosen as our Foodland Pepsi High School Sports Week's Athlete of the Week.
During the course of the regular season, Steve Carbonara found a starting position with the Upper St. Clair soccer team as a defensive stopper. That's a bit unusual for a sophomore, but his gritty play has paid big dividends. In the state semifinal game against Mount Lebanon, midfielder Mike McHugh was sidelined with a broken leg, and that took plenty of scoring punch out of the Panthers lineup. So Steve Carbonara was moved into McHugh's attacking position, and he responded with a superb 2-goal effort. His first goal gave St. Clair a 2-1 lead. However, Mount Lebanon soon erased it. But in sudden death overtime, Steve scored a brilliant winner that propelled his squad into the state championship contest, and he did so with his injured teammate in mind.
I didn't want the season to end against them. Buckwheat, Mike McHugh, me and him just We played the past 2 years together at Stopper. Like, after he got hurt, I just, this is for Buck. So I even wear his warm-up before the game, number 19, even though I'm 20. So I'm trying to keep him in heart.
Steve works hard off the field with advanced studies and a 3.6 grade point average. And he applies that same work ethic to improve at the game of soccer.
Whenever I watch films, I try to, really see how players use their bodies and their feet and how they kick. And I try to base myself off, just everyone to see who is great. I really love Pele.
Not quite Pele yet, but on his way with his attitude. Our Foodland Pepsi High School Sports Week Athlete of the Week, Upper St. Clair's Steve Carbonaro.
And there was a warm welcome for the Foodland Pepsi High School Sports Week show at Quaker Valley High on Friday, as we handed the hardware to our previous Athlete of the Week, Liz Neidlinger. Liz is the goalkeeper for the QV ladies soccer team, who was selected for her shutout performance against Mount Lebanon in the WPXI championship game. Todd Bixby and Frank Wilkins were on hand representing Pepsi, and Liz was also joined by her father and soccer coach Dom Veza. Once again, our congratulations to Liz.
We're the Quaker Valley Boys Soccer team. Stay tuned for more action on the Foodland Pepsi High School Sports Week show.
The pros and cons around these parts are all indoors, but the action on them is just getting heated up. Starting next week on the Foodland Pepsi High School Sports Week show, we'll cover some of the finest hockey schools around. There's only one more Friday night of high school football left, but the semifinal playoff pairings will be worth watching. By virtue of their win over North Allegheny, Mount Lebanon will meet Connellsville at the Quad A level, while the Panthers of Upper St. Clair and the McKeesport Tigers will claw away at one another. Seton LaSalle is looking for a repeat championship, but must first get past Valley in their AAA semifinal. And South Park will try and continue their success in AA competition against Aliquippa next.
All right, everybody, listen up. Only 5 more days remain until the deadline in the Foodland Pepsi Battle for the Bucks contest. So you want to hurry to collect those proof of purchase seals from Pepsi 12 packs and cash register receipts from your local Foodland. Then turn them in by this Friday's deadline, along with your entry blank, to see if your school gets to share in the $10,000 grand prize. For complete information, call 1-800-433-COLA. But hurry, because the Foodland Pepsi Battle for the Bucks is nearly over. Well, that's all we have for you. We hope you've enjoyed our show for this Sunday, and we hope you'll join us again next week. For you athletes, remember, always give it your best in competition and in the classroom, and be on the lookout for our cameras at the next game. I'm Mark Malone saying see you next time on the Foodland Pepsi High School Sports Week show.